Good to go.
Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order. It's 9 o'clock. Becky, you'll read roll call, please.
Tom Wilson, Dave Bally,
Here.
Bill Palin,
Here.
Marvin Williams,
Present.
Rick Humphrey, Jack Scrogstad.
Here.
Okay. Is there anybody here? No, there's nobody here other than our committees, including Zoom. Who do we have on Zoom?
Nobody yet, but I'll keep it.
Nobody on Zoom. Okay, thank you. Approval for the minutes from the previous meeting, April 12th, 2022. Has everyone had a chance to look at the meeting minutes? If there's no corrections, the minutes will be approved as presented. Okay, so monthly review of claims report, that's on the agenda for your review, and the report from the treasurer's office showing paid claims from April 8th to May 5th. Is there any additional actions on that? No? Okay. Okay. Department heads. We'll do reports for department heads. Terry, would you like to give a report? Are you there?
She's not here yet, but I'll
She's
keep it
not
posted.
here. Greg, would you like to say anything?
Sure, I have an hour and a half of stuff here.
You got 5 minutes.
I'll try to condense it down. Just giving everybody information, the rooftop units for this building will be removed Thursday. So the south entrance will be closed probably all day. Also, they're going to start shutting things down on Wednesday afternoon to be in preparation for the rooftop units to be removed. So Wednesday afternoon will probably get a little warm in here, maybe. I don't know. This building really don't cool down that or warm up that bad. The new IT room and new courthouse is almost finished. We have just a few things, electrical things to get done, and that room will be done for our part of it. The IT, new electrical and IT cable for upstairs for the monitors, that is through a grant. That will be completed the 20th, and then shortly after the 20th, we'll be mounting the monitors. So then it'll be all IT stuff after that. New control system for the new courts building is hopefully going to get finished up today or tomorrow. They're working on it right now as we speak. New generator for this building is in. We're getting it scheduled between the two companies right now to get it installed. As soon as I have a time and date on that, I will let you guys know when that's project's going to start.
That's all I have. Thank you, Greg. Does anybody have any questions for Greg? No? Terry, you here?
I am.
Terry?
Hi.
Would you like, do you have our ears? Do you want to give a report?
The only thing I have is, I guess the ordinances we're holding over until next month.
Okay.
And I don't know if anybody has any questions to date about them. Jack, didn't know if you had anything else. We did take out, the dogs in the back of the truck and the, barn and feral cat, statutes.
Yeah, I took a look at that the other day, and thank you for that. The only other question I had was the breeders, your definition of the breeders. But after looking at the section that you referenced, it's pretty much right on target with how the state identifies it too. So I mean, I really don't, but I'm glad you took those things out. So I'm pretty satisfied.
Okay. Thank you.
So the other thing I'd like to say is we had a lot of questions on the ordinances, and I talked to Chairman Olson. I got admin services involved with Chris Norberg. Chris met with Terry, and Terry and Chris went through all the stuff with Wendy actually and redid a lot of the stuff that was in question. I thank you guys for doing that, and thanking Chris for stepping up to help us with that as well. Does anybody have any other questions for Terry?
I'll just throw one thing out, Tom, if you don't mind. So the reason we're letting it lay over another month is because those revisions were just recently completed. So our idea is that we'll get it out to you, give you all plenty of time to see those revisions that were made. And then next month is when we're looking to take action on it. So you still got another month to review the changes. I realize you haven't been forwarded those yet, and that's because we were just finalizing them in the last few days. So we'll get it out to you.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Terry.
Thank you.
Greg Gates with Lots, do you have anything to report?
Other than my report, do you want me to go over that now, Tom?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'll just hit some highlights. The report, which should be in your packet, several of the highlights, I think from the last meeting, we were about ready to submit our CVP, which is the vehicle procurement package to IDOT for 10 replacement vehicles. That was submitted as of the end of April. And we'll find out right now, word of mouth is we're not going to receive any of those replacement vehicles until 2024. So there will be a 2-year wait on actually realizing any of those vehicles through that consolidated vehicle procurement process. Requisitions, I'm happy to say that, knock on wood, they've caught us up on payments, IDOT has, through February. And I actually have another payment from March activity already on its way. So I'm very pleased with that. Last week, we had received, the previous week actually, several bids for the architectural and engineering design of the proposed Oregon Transit Center. We have tentatively chose an A&E. I cannot say it until actually IDOT gives pre-award concurrence. So hopefully that pre-award concurrence will come within the next 2 to 3 weeks, knock on wood. And then we'll move forward with the design phase. Once we're through the design phase, we'll actually go into the process of starting the paperwork for a general contractor and actually break ground and start the actual construction of that transit center in Oregon. Only other thing I would point out would be on the backside, or on page 3, is an update on how our rides are continuing to trend upward. Last week, 1,151 rides compared to 860 1 year ago. So roughly a 30% increase from 1 year ago. And I think that's all I have, unless there's questions.
Anybody have any questions for Greg? No? Thanks, Greg. Alice, would you like to give a report for renewable energy?
On Tuesday, the Renewable Energy Committee did meet. We reviewed the pipeline public survey results, and we also looked at a draft for the pipeline ordinance. Charlie is still working with the city of Amboy's attorney to get an MOU established regarding that pipeline and biogas facility. The committee also reviewed proposed renewable energy survey questions for wind, solar, and battery energy storage systems. That survey went out on May 8th and will be out to the public until May 21st. Dee is handing out a copy of those surveys. We do have a link online for the survey, and we also have 8 locations out in the county where the public can access these surveys. And the next meeting for the Renewable Energy Committee is scheduled for May 26th at 9 a.m.
Thank you, Alice. Does anybody have any questions for Alice? No? Okay. Wendy Ryerson, do you have anything to report to us today?
I have just one thing. It's more along the lines of an announcement. So I have received a fair amount of feedback from all of you board members regarding this room setup. And to be honest, there's not a lot of you that really like it. You don't like having your backs to people, which I totally understand. That is a very fair criticism. However, when I put it in this current setup, the idea was that in particular for this front area, in front of the banister, that it be set in such a way that it could be used not just for board meetings, and committee meetings, but also zoning and planning meetings, because this is where our technology is. You're looking at the camera right here. Until we get the new technology in place, which will be multiple cameras and finally the new microphones, I would ask for your patience. I think it needs to stay this way for now until we get that technology. What was happening before is we were having to move these desks up here in front of the banister, like literally daily between zoning board meetings at night and committee meetings in the day. We were moving around. No, these microphones are failing already. So it was really hard on the system and on the desks. So I'm asking for your patience. I understand that this is not ideal. And when we get the new technology in place, we're going to look at maybe going back to the original way it was set up, where you're facing yourselves in 2 rows behind the banister. In front of the banister will be left for the committee meetings and zoning and planning meetings. So bear with me. I hear what you're saying, and I appreciate your constructive criticism.
Thank you, Wendy. Does anybody have anything for Wendy? No? Dee, would you like to give your report for zoning?
Sure. On the agenda, it says that there are 5 petitions coming from the zoning board. That is now just 2 petitions, 22P 1590 and 1592. You'll be voting on that, their recommendations next week. What else? So there was 2 revocation petitions, but they were continued until July. We are still ongoing hearings with GSG Wind Repower. Hopefully we'll be finishing up maybe next week. And then we do have a petition 22 PC 66 that was held over in February. We missed it the last couple months, but it will be on your desks at the county board to be voted on Thursday. And I believe we have a resolution for an extension to the moratorium for wind, solar, and battery storage. Okay, I haven't seen it yet, so that should be it.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Dee?
I do. This one of the 2 petitions still going through is this Michael Anderson, Michael and Mary Anderson,
Right,
right? Is that on the old railroad bed, South Amboy,
that would be the other mini storage facility that's going to be going up.
moving all that dirt around there? They basically
Yes.
leveled that out. I was just curious if that was a situation I tried to do some equation here from the petition, but I couldn't get it to fit. But, obviously, I just was curious because I drive by it every day.
Okay, thank you. Petitions going to zoning board of appeals is none. Petitions going to the planning commission is none. Petitions coming from the zoning board of appeals. There are 4 petitions coming from the zoning board of appeals, and Dee covered those in her report. There's 2 petitions that we need a motion on. The first one is the Jared Zellhofer PNN 021523300007 and 021526200005 in Amboy Township. I'd entertain a motion to move the petition 22P 1590 to the executive committee for inclusion on the May County Board agenda. Jack makes the motion, Dave seconds it. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, second petition, petition 22-P 1592, Michael and Mary Anderson, parcel number 021536200016 in Amboy Township. I would entertain a motion to move petition 22P 1592 to the executive committee for inclusion on the May County Board agenda. Marvin made the motion and Jack seconded it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so moved. So petitions coming from the planning commission, there's none. The Renewable Energy Committee update with Chris Norberg. Alice covered that. Zoning procedures, restructuring and enforcement updates. Board member Jack Scruggs, did you have anything to say about that, Jack?
Well, I attended my first zoning board meeting the other day that involved the two petitions we just voted on. And I'll have to say it was my first one, and I learned an awful lot that particular evening. It went from 7 o'clock till about 10:30-ish. Long night. A couple of petitions, a couple of issues had to be extended on because of the time frame. So I'm still in the process of learning how all this works. I believe I've met with the zoning people, and we've got a couple of ideas that we want to put together. But one of the things that came up here just recently, and I believe that there has been a desire to have like a list of contractors that have registered. I know the city of Dixon has a list of registered contractors that the county should probably have something like that too. And I believe we saw, I think Dee found, I think LaSalle City, Dee,
Yeah,
that
correct.
has a list of approved contractors, and they've got a list of them. And I thought that would not be a bad idea. Have these contractors come in, give us a copy of their insurance, their bonding information, maybe their tax ID number to show that they're actual, they're a real business. So that way the public can come to the county, look at the list of these people and say, hey, they're even registered with the county. We need to have, if we're going to have this on a website, like on a page, these people that are registered contractors with us, we have to have some kind of a clarity that we're not endorsing anyone. We're just saying that they have registered with us, and that's what that is. But again, this is something we're just putting together. What's the committee's opinion of having like a list of these contractors, so that way, somebody out in the county, if they're looking at XYZ contracting company to put on a porch or a deck or something like that, they could go to the county website and see that XYZ is on there or is not on there, and go from there. What's any comments on you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, like the city of Dixon, Sterling, Dixon, and Rock Falls require a bond. The only 3 cities in the state of Illinois. We have to, it's just an insurance paper that just shows those 3 cities that we're bonded. I think it's a really good idea to have the contractors listed in the county that are registered in the county. However, when we're doing permitting, if someone's going to get a roof done and the particular person that these people in the county didn't pick were from the county, all we ask is if they're going to have somebody come from another county or whatever, register with our zoning department with the insurance information and everything to make sure we're covered. I think that's something on a permit that we could do, and I think it's a great idea.
I looked at the permits for that, and it lists who's their contractor. And, if they've got their family or friends are going to do it, they're going to mark it self,
Right.
type deal. But if they're going to have another company, I think that if it was another company, say maybe out of county, a company out of county, maybe not necessarily know that, we could ask that. Yeah, that's perfectly,
Right. I mean, all we're doing is the people of the county have to understand, we're just trying to protect them from
Exactly.
workman's comp issues, and they bring somebody in. What people don't realize is they bring somebody in that's not bonded and insured and what have you. They fall off their roof, they're liable for the damages.
Right.
And so we're just trying to give it a protection for the counties of the people in the county. So
Would we be protected
what do you mean would we be protected?
if someone was suing the contractor? Would we be named in that suit also because we allowed the building permit?
No, we'd have to ask, that's a Charlie question, but absolutely not. I mean, that's, no, we're not asking them for a payment. We're asking them to register to show us their certificate of insurance, but that's all taken care of through the homeowners and their insurances. Are you asking if someone came in and worked illegally and fell off the roof, if we would be liable?
Legally filed with us.
B, is that what you're?
So with the city of LaSalle, they require that the city be listed as an insured.
An additional insured, sure.
So that leads to the question as to why, what protection does the municipality need that requires them to be listed as an insured? So I'm just trying to think of, from the county's perspective, does that open us up to liability?
That's a Charlie question, but I could speak pretty intelligently about it because I understand this. But additionally insured means that every layer of insurance goes through before. I mean, if I do a larger job, I would list myself and the customer as a legit, additionally insured. So every layer of insurance has gone through before there's a lawsuit with the contractor. So I mean, it's the county is issuing a permit. How the job is executed, we don't execute jobs, and we aren't going to go out and make sure that they're doing things properly. So I mean, that's a lot. But all we're trying to do is just give them protection that, hey, this person's insured, has a certificate of insurance, and the roofers have to be licensed in the state of Illinois. So there's a lot of different classifications. I mean, all your HVAC and what have you, they're listed through the state of Illinois. Contractors, general contractors, they have the proper insurance and what have you. They're not state listed. We're not state licensed. So that's a Charlie question. We can definitely ask that. But yeah.
So anyway, that's just, that's some of the conversations we've had. You know, again, this zoning board meeting we had, it was very lengthy. You know, it just, I know there's certain procedures that we need to follow and that need to be covered. It just, you know, for three petitions or two petitions that we heard, it just took an awful long time for it to go through. And they were simple ones, but yet I understand that they had to have. So I'm just trying to wrap my head around what could make it easier. So anyway, so it's a work in progress. So, you know, I'm learning and keep going.
That's great. We appreciate that. So anybody have any questions for Jack? Okay. Old business, repurposing of the old jail. Status report for that. We're waiting for some information that we applied for to find out what we're doing. We've had the abatement. The asbestos has been tested. There is asbestos in the building. We're going to get a scope letter put together to get abatement contractors to give us quotes on abating the building. The demolition plans have been completed. We are not starting finished drawings until we find out exactly what we're doing in that building. That will be hopefully in the next month or so that we'll find out exactly what will be going on inside the building. The new courts building boiler replacement project, we're working through contract issues. Charlie's got the contract in his hand. We're waiting to sign it with the low bidder. We're working through some issues right now to make sure Charlie's appeased for the county. That boiler project will get started as soon as we get all the proper permitting and the engineering brought forward to us. Also, that's basically the boiler replacement in there. Now, in new business, there's several things. We're getting scope letters, and we're getting ready to put out for bid the replacement of the boilers in the old part of the new courts building. That's another boiler situation that we have. We've got time. We're not using those boilers currently, but we'll get the project out for bid, awarded, and get the project started as soon as possible. We're also getting prices on the elevators. Greg's had people here for the elevator that is down over there. We've got one company that's come here with their engineers, looked at it, and given us a final price with all the bells and whistles that we needed, not just a bunch of adders that leaves it up to question of what we're doing. And we're still waiting for another elevator company to contact us with their engineers to come and look at it. Greg's already gone over this building. That's all we have as far as, we got something, Greg?
Yeah, when I talked to Coney Elevator Engineers, I told them the price that they gave me originally. which I brought to the board, and they said they thought they could beat that pretty good, that price.
Yeah.
And also the time frame that they had down on that, they thought they could probably get it done a lot quicker than what they had stated in the original
Sure.
estimate that they gave us.
Yep. And once we get that back, we'll get it to the properties and then get it to the finance and we'll get moving on that as well. New business animal control ordinances, resolution, battery energy storage systems moratorium extension. I'd entertain a motion to move the battery energy storage systems moratorium extension resolution to the executive committee for inclusion on the May County Board agenda. Do I have a motion, Jack? Bill seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? I was an aye by the way. I was an aye. And then there's a moratorium extension on solar systems. I'd entertain a motion to move the moratorium extension on solar energy systems resolution to the executive committee for inclusion on the May County Board agenda. Do I have a motion for that? Jack, do I have a second? Can I second it?
I'm sorry, what? No, not Tim.
That to approve it,
That's approving it to send it to the executive committee.
that to be up to the executive board to approve it or disapprove it.
Right? Yeah, they can stop it.
Just to put it on the agenda.
It's just to put it on the
Put it on the
agenda.
agenda.
Yep.
County board or the.
Then the county board will vote for it.
I'll second that, Tom.
Okay, thank you, Rick. Second, can he second it from the Zoom meeting? Rick, you can't vote. You got to plant corn.
I'll second it.
I'm
Thanks.
working. I can too vote.
So, so Marvin seconded it. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed? Okay. Moratorium extension for the wind energy system. And entertain a motion to move the moratorium extension on wind energy systems resolution to the executive committee for inclusion on the May County Board agenda. Do I have a motion for that? Jack's made a
I was
motion.
gonna second if somebody would do it.
Do I have a second? Dave Valley seconds it. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay.
Tom, can we step back just a second to the animal control ordinance? As you heard earlier in the conversation from Terry, it is not her intention to bring it before the board this month, but rather next month. Formally, though, it's laid over on the table. Does this committee, would they like to make a motion to actually table it until next month? And then we'll take it off the table and we can move it forward. Just a formality.
Bill, you second?
Question on
Oh,
that.
okay.
The question, we don't have it with us today to even formally send it to administration, just put it on the table. So, or to put it on the board agenda.
Which we don't, yeah, which we don't want to. I think that's why we're looking for like a table. Yeah.
So it's on the agenda, so we want to take it off of the agenda.
Well, by tabling it, you're just gonna
Hold it over for a
you're
moment.
gonna stop a vote at the full board meeting on this. Does that make sense?
So then it goes to the next month and it ain't even written yet. It isn't finalized yet. It isn't here to send to administration to put it in front of the board to hold over to the next month. So at this time, if we just table it to another month, we would not be able to vote on it the following month. We're at the table it almost 2 months.
So you're in the holdover period right now. You can make revisions in the holdover period and still vote on it. You don't have to hold it over again. That's your decision. That's a policy decision by the board, but you wouldn't have to do that. This holdover period it's doing exactly what it was designed to do, which is giving people time for feedback.
Look at it.
So you don't have to, but by tabling it right now, you're going to prohibit the board, full board from voting on it this month. And then next month, you can choose to take it off the table and move it forward or not. It'll be up to this committee.
Like you don't want us to vote on it this month.
I don't, yeah, it's.
So that's
I
what she's
think it
trying.
needs to be totally off of the board agenda for this month. To come back and be revised and then go through the process and start over, basically. We just to table it and make some adjustments and then put it up another month could make it more, if we don't get all the stuff taken care of, it's just going to be held over and held over and held over.
Bill,
Think
you
we
got a
need-
comment?
Yes,
technically, shouldn't this be seconded before we discuss it?
Yes, yes.
I haven't heard a second yet.
I'll second.
Okay, Jack second. Now discussion. Now go ahead and discuss it.
Yeah, 'cause- so it just seems that it needs to be. If we don't even have it written yet, and just gets presented to the board. Until, until we get all the things taken care of and find out what they want, it seems like it needs to almost be taken off of this month, not just tabled and, well, we can finalize it the following month.
The process for taking it off the full board agenda is to table it, though. That's why I suggested that. And then next month, you can make another decision about whether you want to take it off the table or continue to review it. So that's kind of why I suggested the table.
We're stopping the full board from voting on it. We're
Right.
keeping it in our committee. We're tabling it. So we have a month to discuss this and look through the new changes. Then we can send it to the board and then it can be voted upon.
Well,
Or
it
table.
would have to be held over then.
Yeah.
If it's if it gets sent to the board be after this meeting, then it has to be held over. That's what I'm saying.
Wendy?
Well, just take it off. of
It
the
wouldn't
meeting.
necessarily have to be, but again, it's going to be your choice. If that's what you want to happen, that's what can happen. It doesn't have to be held over again, though. This is officially the holdover period. But it's
I have a
entirely up to you. You could.
I have
Yes,
a
Terry?
question. Is there other issues? Or, I mean, if there's other issues, we can work on them.
Yes, and I think there needs to be other issues. I don't know. I have not.
Terry, they haven't seen it yet. So we're trying to table it so they can see it and then we can make revisions if we need to. So they haven't seen
Okay.
they haven't seen the new changes yet. That's what we're trying to.
Oh.
Yeah,
So we don't even know the new changes. Are they gonna be by administration so that it is corrected for this board meeting?
it has to go through our committee before it can go to
Yeah,
the full
so
board.
it isn't on our committee meeting right now. We wanna eliminate it or take it off of the meeting minutes and start the process. There's nothing saying next month, properties doesn't look at it again, and then the holdover, and then the vote. That's all I'm saying is,
Bill?
There's actually no harm to be done by tabling it at this time.
No,
We have the option of running it on down month after
Kicking the
month.
can down the road for 3 months if that's what we so choose to do.
Exactly. That's
Yes.
the purpose of it.
This is what you want, David, what we're tabling. This is what you
So-
want,
Yeah.
just so
Well,
you understand. It's not, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, because you haven't looked at it. You want time to look at it, so we're going to table it. That's why.
And then we can look at it and then next month we can vote to,
but there's always a holdover month,
Yep, yep.
and then the thing, so it won't
Right.
be even voted on.
Correct.
And this month or next month. It'll
That's,
have to be held over next month.
that's the
what,
reason.
what
for
would,
being-
what would the solution be, Dave?
Probably just to take it off the thing and bring it back next month through properties and.
But we've already done that and we've made revisions to it. And I think we need to continually make revisions to it until this committee is satisfied to where they're sending something that they're satisfied with to the county board. So I think it's a work in progress as far as I'm concerned. And all we're doing is just bumping it and making sure we're doing things the way we see fit before we send it to the county board.
Thus, it's being tabled.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
have to withdraw this?
No, just tabled.
Well, that's what I meant.
Yep.
Well, it's just,
The vote that we just made.
Yes, the vote we just made, we had a first and second on it, and we need to vote. Is there any further discussion on this? Does everyone understand wholly or completely what we're talking about?
if we table it next week, we cannot vote on it in June. It has to
No,
automatically be tabled again or held over.
okay, but,
That's all I'm saying.
right, but what's this, there's no other solution but to do that.
Okay,
I mean, there's no other alternative. We have to get it to our committee to make
we're
sure.
tabling this till July, basically, or we're tabling it over. The first vote.
Hopefully this
possibly is
meeting
July.
next month, we will be voting that everything's acceptable and we send it to the full county board.
Question.
What's that?
Question.
Yes, sir.
For vote.
Oh, okay. So all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. So there's no appointments this month. Executive session, there's no request for executive session. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Second, Marvin and Jack. Okay, the Citrus twins.